stories by giving the stories to people who take them and give them again. In the circle of tellers, circle of listeners who become the tellers of stories that circle the heart like old friends.
I have to use the microphone. My wife has spoken. I will not do justice to the story as Dorothy told it, and I'm not sure I remember it exactly. But as I remember, there was a wreck beside the road. The sheriff arrived, and everybody was dead. There was just a monkey there, and the sheriff said, "Too bad there's not a witness or somebody can tell us something." And the monkey went. Well, he said, the sheriff asked him, said, "Well, who was driving, or what was the man doing?" "Oh, he was drinking." "What was the wife doing?" "Oh, she was fussing at him." "Yeah." "What was the children doing?" "Oh, they were fighting." "Yeah." "Who was driving?"
A man the age of my husband has no business learning the bagpipes by correspondence course, she said, as she handed the gun to the detective.
This executive from the East was tired of his job, and he decided he wanted to change. And so he'd been thinking about the farmers in Nebraska, and he decided he was going to come out and be a chicken farmer in Nebraska. So he came out, and in the spring he went to the hatchery and got himself 100 little baby chicks, took them home, and the next week he was back. Got 100 more chickens, and took them home. And a couple of weeks later, he came back again, and he got 100 more chickies. And the man at the store said, "What in the world are you doing with all those chickens?" And he says, "Well, I don't know." He says, "But I planted them and they don't grow up, and I think I've just planted them too deep."
True story. Years ago, an early hard frost killed the beautiful mimosa tree in our front yard, and so we got another tree to take its place, a shimmered oak. And after it had been growing a while, we realized that was dumb. Oak trees grow slowly. How long is it going to take to be a good size? I was walking in the neighborhood one day and saw a man mowing his lawn under a pretty good size teenage oak tree. And I waved and went over to talk and said, "Excuse me, sir, how old is your oak tree?" And he said, "It's not an oak tree, it's a maple." I said, "Well, no, look, maple trees have a leaf like this and oak trees have a leaf like that. That's the kind of leaf your tree has." And he looked at it and he said, "Well, my golly, that explains all them acorns."
As storytellers do, I borrowed this from Jim Wallen. He told way back. There were two baby skunks running around and playing in the forest, and all of a sudden they ran around this bush, and there was a big bear, and he came toward them. So they went over to Mama, and Mama says, "Let's stomp our feet, bow our heads, and let us spray."
When I was just out of college, had no money, I came home one day and found just part of a $20 bill laying on a table there. The rest of it my dog had eaten. I found him there chewing on it, and he'd eaten just a little bit, not enough to take to the bank to get, sometimes you get your money back. Well, the next day I took the dog out for a walk, and he did his thing on the ground there, and lo and behold, there was the rest of the $20 bill. Right there. Cleaned it up, took it to the bank, got my money back. It's true, I was just...
We keep the stories by giving the stories to people who take them and give them again. In the circle of tellers, circle of listeners, who become the tellers of stories that circle the heart like old friends.